everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Nessa and I am an indie author and I publish under the pen name A.N. Sage. I write fantasy, sci-fi, and mostly YA and NA. And today is going to be a very quick kind of video because I've been talking about creating a resource library for you guys for quite some time now, and I finally got around to doing it. So I wanted to kind of walk you through some of the things that I currently have in there. I will be adding to this library very, very often. So pretty much anytime we have a video where I talk about a resource or some kind of sheet or guide or anything like that, more often than not, I will design something to go into the resource library. But I wanted to walk you guys through some of the things that I currently have on there for you to download completely for free. You just have to sign in with your email, and it's a newsletter. All I'll do with this newsletter, let you know when either new sheets go live in the resource library or a new video pops up on this channel here. But you get all of the resources on there for free, and it's ongoing, and you'll get like a password that will let you into the library to download as you wish. So with all of that out of the way, I'm gonna just kind of go through. There is something in here that I'll show you guys, but we'll keep that kind of for last. But for now, the first thing that they have is a plotting guide, and you have a little bit of an explanation of what the guide is. I use kind of a combination of Save the Cat, 8-Beat, and Story Embryo. It's a little bit of a mishmash of the three, but Save the Cat really does follow the 8-Beat structure. It just has like extra scenes onto it. So I kind of put all of these together into one thing that I use for myself. And so I prettied it up for you guys and made these plotting sheets. Now, you will see, oh, and you can print these all, by the way, they're all letter size, so you can print them off any size that you want, as long as you put fit to page on your printer so that nothing gets cut off. Anyhow, so I have a bit of an explanation of the story embryo for you guys, so you know, like in the back end, I definitely recommend like doing a bit more reading and research on these, but this is a good point form of what to expect. There's the 8-point arc as well, and a definition of every single of the point of the beats. And then we go into the plotting sheet. So I have them divided into Act 1, Act 2, Part 1, Act 2, Part 2, and Act 3. And each one is divided by the beats from the 8-beat that will go into it. And what for me makes the most sense would be the Save the Cat beats that would fall under that 8-beat structure. So it's kind of like, if you're looking at this 8-point arc, this is more like overview. It's big and it falls also along these 8 points here in the story embryo. So everything you can see works hand in hand. But then when you break it down on the Save the Cat, you get more scenes, right? And so you have quite a bit of space to write all these scenes out. And that goes on throughout until Act 3. Then another sheet that I have there right now is character development. This is a big one too. I take a lot of time to develop my characters and kind of like their profiles and stuff. And so I have a little table sheet, whatever you want to call it, for a character's inner profile. So you get to know your characters a bit more. You can do this for every single one of your protagonists or protagonist and antagonists, side characters, whatever you want. I use it for all my characters that have a point of view in the story, and also for the antagonist. So you have their outer layer, which would have like name, age, location, eye color, hair color, height, occupation, general appearance notes, and other traits. Then you have relationships, so parents, siblings, best friend, main enemy, or your antagonist, love interest. Then you have your inner layer, which would be like past wounds, flaws, emotional stage at the start of the story, external behavior traits and how they portray themselves to others, their goal, what do they want, their motivation, what do they want it, the lie, who they think they are because of this past wound, their biggest strength, their biggest weakness, their internal struggle, So the fight between their strength and their flaw, their true self, who they are deep inside, and the lie disprove. And then you have your 3 emotional states at the beginning, at the middle, and the end. And that's your character development sheet. Then you have a worksheet for character arcs, which are also very important because they should be synced to the plot of your story. And we'll talk about this a little bit more because I'll be doing a video on character arcs coming up for you guys. Then what I did for character arcs, which is what I usually do kind of like roughly, but I put it all in one worksheet for all of us, I guess, me too. It's easier this way now, is you have the same breakdown that you would have in your 8-beat structure of your story, but it's broken down towards the character. So like you're describing what's happening to the character with every single beat that you've already kind of talked about. So like in this section, your character's reaction to the catalyst, where when you're plotting, you would put down what that catalyst is. Here, you would really figure out what their reaction is and how they react, what they do compared to every other beat and scene in your story. And so that's also divided very similarly to Act 2 Part 1, Act 2 Part 2, and Act 3. And so that's, in this, I think the character arc works the most with the story embryo, because the story embryo is really character exploration and it's all about the journey of the character. And so the character arc sheets, while they are mirrors to your plotting sheets, they really work in a synchronizing way with the story embryo method of plotting. So again, everything comes together. I also have a word count tracker that I use myself all the time. And then you have 31 days, your daily words, your daily word target, your total writing time, and your total book words thus far. And I use this whenever I start a book, and you can keep printing this off as much as you want to. Then I have a magic system development, and if you haven't seen my world building series, I will link it just above on the note cards here. But I talk a lot about all of these different ways of developing your world. And so I've created little kind of questionnaires for you to follow. So if you watch those videos and you just need more detail and stuff, these are great to download. So we have magic rules and background. And as you can see, there's a ton of questions that you can fill out to get to know your magic system better. Like, how does magic influence politics? How does it influence relationships between people? Is it good? Is it evil? Like things like that. So it's just good to kind of think about it when you're developing your magic system, and now you have it all in one spot. Another one also from that same series is we have the political development system, and this is kind of politics world building. So in the same sense, you have a lot of questions that will help you figure out how politics works in your world. So like what tensions exist between the parties, what divides them, who decides the key players, are there rules in place to prevent abuse of power? So questions like that, like how does geography affect it? And again, anything that you might use, this is a really great way to kind of go through and figure out how politics works in your new world. And then the not the final, because we have one more to talk about, but the final one of these worksheets is the fictional economy. And this is a one-pager to kind of like figure out where your economy is, how it works, like how are import and exports handled, is it dictated by geography, like what are the value trades in your rules and things like that. So these are the main kind of plot related sheets that I have for you so far. We will have more, like I said. And then the other thing that I have, so I don't know if you guys know, but I used to have an Etsy shop, and it was all about planners, obviously, because I'm obsessed. So I ran a planner shop for a very long time, and it did very well. But it was just like a lot of physical work that I had like a different full-time job at the time. I wasn't writing full-time yet or designing. So I worked somewhere else, and then I would come home and work until like 2 or 3 in the morning on this planner shop and filling out orders and cutting stickers and, putting planners together. So I did close down the shop. However, I have this background as a graphic designer of designing planners, and I designed something called the Prolific Planner. And the Prolific Planner, I don't have it printed out, but what I do have printed out is a part of it. But the Prolific Planner is essentially like an all-in-one planning system. It's undated. It's A5 size. You can print it any size you want if you fit to your page. And it's got your monthly layouts. It's got a vertical weekly layout. So vertical would be if you have a page, it would go down the page. And it has a budgeting system after every single month, the detailed budgeting system for expense tracking, savings, things like that. And everything is undated. And it's minimally branded, so it can pretty much fit into any planner system. And it also has at the back of it this very intense goal setting system that I have been using for years and years, and I absolutely love. And I kind of developed it using the get stuff done method, because I am really into productivity and being the most productive that you can be with the least amount of effort, basically, and not driving yourself crazy every day. And so I kind of created this goal system. And what I have is I have it set up in here, ready to go. This is the one that I have for next year. I got ahead of myself. I have another one similar to this for this year that I'm finishing up, but I wanted to show you guys a fresh one. So on the resource library, you will see that you can get the Prolific Planner with this goal system already behind it, or you can download just this goal system on its own. If you don't want the planner, if you already have a planner you use. I have a few different planners that I already use that are one of those like bound planners that you get. And so I just print off the goals planner for myself, and I made it all cute. This is a Martha Stewart, I believe. Yeah, for Staples tool planner. So let's go through it. So as you can see, the Prolific Planner, that would be like kind of like a title page for the front. You have a this planner belongs to section, and then your goal section. So this is kind of like what you would get in your goals. A goal without a plan and just a wish, just a cute little quote. So over here, you have your space for your yearly goals, and you have 4 different sections broken down by 4 different quarters. So you could have like work, personal, like home, travel, I don't know, whatever you want on here. And those would be like your sections and what goals, main big goals you want to accomplish for every quarter. And then that's your year. And I just use these Avery tabs, the mini Avery tabs, to kind of section them all off. Then you're going to goal number 1. And so as you can see here, I have everything tabbed off for goal number 1, 2, 3, 4. We have notes, lists, and grid at the back. So goal number 1, the way that you would work in this goals planner is you would label your goal. You would figure out your main big task. This is kind of brainstorming. And then you have your notes if you want to do like sketches, if you're remodeling or something like that, or just take notes and stuff, ideas, anything you want. Then what you would have is quarterly goal projects. So this is different from these quarterly. These are just like your yearly goals. So you would first fill this out, then you move on to these, right? And so your quarterly goal projects for this goal. So let's say my goal right now, number 1 is to finish writing 2 more books in Shadowhurst by the end of this year. And so my quarterly work projects, so we're not in this, but we have Q3 and Q4. So in Q3, I would have write book number 7, which I'm doing right now. So it's actually perfectly timed for Q3. And then my project for Q4 would be write book number 8, right? And then your 4 lead tasks, and then you check them off as you accomplish them. Then you would take each one of these. So we'll go here and let's say Q3 was my project was, as we said, write book 7 in Shadowhurst. And then I switch over to Q3, write book 7 in Shadowhurst will go right here in the title. I kind of write some notes about it here. start and an end date, and then the very, very more specific. So not your lead tasks, which are kind of like your main ones. So for me, that would be like write draft 1, do the edits, get beta readers, send it to proofreader, like that kind of stuff. And over here, I could go into like design the cover, write the blurb, figure out pricing, marketing, all that stuff, right? So these would be your project tasks, and then a section for notes, right? And then you would have your Q4 project for goal number 1, which we said the same thing for me was Shadowhurst number 8, and I would fill it out the same way. And when I'm done, I would do the same thing for goal 2, and you could do it for the whole year. You could fill it out quarter by quarter, which is what I do. It just seems better that way because plans change. So, or you can do the whole year in one go. It's up to you. So when you're done here, I have a notes section. So these are also downloads that you get there. You get these. So these I actually took from the Prolific Planner. So there's like blank ones in the Prolific Planner. So when you download those, there is templates for these lined notes, list notes so that you can print double-sided, and the grid paper. And there's one double-sided page template of each, so you can print them as much as you want. And then I just have another goal section ready for the year after to go here. So that is what I have for you so far. I'm pretty excited about it. It's going good. It's a good little starter to this resource library. I will be back next week to talk about character arcs like we said, but in the meantime, you can go ahead, and I put a link in the description for where you can sign up so you can get access to the library and all of these different plotting sheets and guides and planner and everything. So I hope that helps you guys. I will keep adding to it. Like I said, I want to make this a pretty massive collection of guides and helpful things for authors, just like this channel. So if you're into that kind of thing, just make sure you're subscribed to the channel, let your friends know about it, and hopefully you enjoy all the plotting stuff I have for you guys. So have fun, have a great summer, because it's finally pure summer here where we are, and I absolutely love it. And as always, stay magical, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.